Where should we start then? We often talk about Ryan Stevenson, our weekly columnist here on Record Sport. He rarely fails to deliver, and his column tomorrow is no different, Keith.
Packs a punch, yep. It's quite a good one, actually, because obviously, there's Hearts have got the weekend off. They're away in Spain. Rangers away in Spain. They don't have Scottish Cup duty to worry about this weekend. So I think they've got a little bit of time to take a breath. And I think that was the whole point of the column, which will be in tomorrow's newspaper and online. There's a little snippet going up of it tonight, and it'll be in the back page of tomorrow's newspaper. And he's basically calling for fans of Hearts, Celtic, Rangers, get a grip. Get a grip. Stop this overreacting to everything that happens. Stop calling for the heads. We've had people in here, Hearts fans, saying they have to get rid of Derek McInnes or they'll not win this title. It's too negative. Stuff like that. Stuff like the Celtic fans questioning Martin O'Neill and then saying that Callum McGregor should be taken out of the team, and stuff like Rangers fans at 2-0 at Falkirk at the weekend. Rangers will go 2-0 down. There's a knee-jerk reaction. Get Danny Roll out. He's saying everybody just needs to take a breather, calm down. And he's very good in some of the stuff that he said, in terms of, I think there's one line where he says, look, do you want to read it out?
I've got them up there. I mean, on Derek McInnes, potentially people calling for him to leave if he doesn't win the league. He says, I've one simple question for anyone at Tynecastle who thinks that'd be a good idea. Are you drunk? And on Callum McGregor, he says he should always be in the Celtic starting 11 as long as he's prepared to play through the pain barrier. He's one of the real Celtic players they've got, and a team full of donkeys. He's their best chance of somehow getting over the line. Team full of donkeys, a wee bit harsh. It's not a classic Celtic
I think
team,
he's been fairly clear on what he thinks of this Celtic team for a number of weeks now. And do you know something? That's hard to make much of an argument. Look, we'll have an argument because later in the show we'll also talk through our team of the season so far in the top flight. So I get his point. I get his point in that, Martin O'Neill is trying to cobble a team together week in, week out. It's been miraculous. I told you I did the calculations a few days ago. Martin O'Neill, over his two spells as Celtic manager, has won, I think, around about 82% of the points that were available to him in that period of time in both periods.
Yeah.
Now, Wilfred Nancy's return was 33%. And Brendan Rodgers, before the Honda Civic broke down, was 64%. So, when you look at stats like that, it tells you that Celtic are nowhere near this. And actually, Ryan goes a little bit further than that and says, if it wasn't for Martin O'Neill and the likes of Callum McGregor, Celtic would currently be sitting in fourth place, out of the title race, and probably sitting behind Motherwell. And I don't think that's an unreasonable. When you look at the percentages and what Martin O'Neill has done, it's incredible that he's got such a run of results out of a team which I think even Celtic fans mostly would put their hands up and admit this team is not fit for purpose. It's not a proper Celtic team. It doesn't compare, shouldn't be compared to any of the Celtic teams over the last 20 years or so.
And we should say comments are coming
Apart
in.
from maybe Ronnie Dylas.
Aye. Comments are coming in. If you want to get involved in the conversation, please do so. We'll have the guys' team of the years later, so let us know what you think of that as well. Already, Gavaldo says, I'm any Hearts fan who goes to games that wants or has even discussed anything about sacking McInnes. But as you said, Keith, we have legitimately had several fans on here that said, look, if he doesn't win the league, Tony Bloom's going to want a more sophisticated coach. I mean, that sounds mental to me, but...
Yeah, well, I mean, I think one of the guys that was on was actually saying, we won't win this title unless...
I think it was.
I mean, it's extraordinary when you think about where Hearts were, where they are. And it's just that, but we did say, I said to you, Daniel, weeks and weeks ago, as this kind of climax was nearing, that people will lose their stuff and you'll get all sorts of silly responses and kind of knee-jerk reactions, and that's where we are right now. If I don't know what the general online reaction to Rangers going 2-0 down was at the weekend, but if there were people saying that Danny Rowe has to go, that's as crazy as anything.
That's fans, though, isn't it? I mean, that's
the way it is nowadays, isn't it?
But that's Ryan Stevenson's point, is to the three different sets of supporters, get a grip. And I think he's perfectly entitled to say that.
See, just on Callum McGregor, I mean, I know we touched on it last night, but Can you imagine a Celtic team without Callum McGregor?
Oh,
I mean, where would they? Who's running that dressing room? Who's the leader on the pitch? No, who's cajoling people? I mean, if he's not there, you think the guy's missing as well, like Johnson and Carter Vickers and that. Even Schmeichel, to a lesser extent,
Aye.
being a big,
He was part of the
big
leadership.
character,
Yep.
big character in that dressing room. Without Callum McGregor, as you say, that Celtic team, I think they'd be further in the league for certain.
John in the comments says it is the irrationality of football fans in Scotland. You can say that again. Badger says McInnes must be doing something right. I've never seen so many people wearing Hearts tops.
Was this a...
That might have been an odd, actually. I might
Aye.
have walked right into that one. And McKenna says that he wants a statue for McInnes. Forget sacking him, which I think if he wins the league, he'd be well entitled to ask for
Well,
it.
listen, let's try and I know that we can get caught up and you can get sort of lose sight of reality and where you actually are in the kind of bigger order. But Derek McInnes is trying to do something and is now 5 games away from becoming the first man since Sir Alex Ferguson to take a team from out with the Old Firm to win the top flight in Scottish football. That's the scale of the achievement. So see all this, people giving him a hard time, saying he's too defensive, saying that, he's Hearts aren't going to do this until they get a manager that takes the handbrake off. It's a nonsense. Hearts really need to appreciate what they've got this season and who's enabled this to happen, who's put the hard work in. It's been Derek McInnes and it's been the players. And the Hearts fans as well have come along for the journey and they've been there and they've turned Tynecastle into the sort of place that Derek McInnes... Remember Derek McInnes' first press conference when he took the job? He made a really great point. He said, there are too many teams that come to Tynecastle and say, this is my favourite ground to play at. Because it's a great atmosphere. And more often than not, they can come, enjoy a good atmosphere and take 3 points away.
Take a selfie in that.
I want Tynecastle to become a place that everybody says it's the worst place to go in Scottish football. And he succeeded. And that was his first sort of aim that he set out for the players, and he has succeeded. See, from now on, yeah, you're going to get a great atmosphere and it's a good... Players aren't going to want to go. Celtic players, Rangers players, I don't care who you're from, you're not going to look forward to going to Tynecastle because you know what the chances are you'll be doing really well to come away for that place without dropping something.
Surely if there's anybody doubting Derek McInnes or saying, we need to be more expansive than that. So what do they expect? So what's got them into this position?
Just
First
abandon
time
it.
in 66 years they could go and win a title. So you say unbeaten at Tynecastle. Are they suggesting, nah, we need to rip that up? I think we need to be a bit more attack minded to actually go and win it. That's what they've done is got them into this position, which is totally unprecedented.
Do you know what it is? It's because there's been a kind of string of 1-0s.
Aye.
And do you know what? Hearts fans, rather than being, critical about that, they should be thrilled about it. Because these are the games that previously Hearts were losing 1-0 or 2-0 or drawing 0-0.
Aye.
And it's this ability to sort of recharge, go again, get over the line, whatever it takes to get over the line. And the game at the weekend was a perfect example of that. Well, Motherwell, a right good Motherwell side, turn up at Tynecastle. Everybody's put a red ringer in that potential game as a really difficult one. And Motherwell could go here and really throw a spanner in the works. And yes, they almost did. But Hearts found a way to get over the line. And yes, 2 late goals. But if any Hearts fan had been offered a 3-1 win over Motherwell a few weeks ago, they would have snapped anybody's arm off for it.
McKenna makes the point, we lost our main striker, 1-0 wins were excellent. Main striker, main midfielder as well.